writing music, but it ain't out there for all to see. You understand what I'm talking about? And so now this is the time, let me make it personal, that I have to learn to deal with Zari, deal with Zari, Yacob-El, because at this time, nobody can really see me. You understand? You don't see the struggles that I go through day to day and night to night and afternoon to afternoon. You don't see you don't get to see, because I'm on this microphone speaking to you, you don't get to see the faults and failures in me. You understand what I'm saying? You don't get to see the problems and the things that God still needs to work, let's put it to you this way. You don't get to see my sin. Deep from within. Oh, bless his name. And that's where a lot of you get tricked up. See, what happens is you get a little word or you get a message here and there, and they give you all the accolades, and the first thing you do is you let them set you up for the big fall in front of them all. You understand what I'm saying? See, when I'm behind this microphone and I'm just trying my best to serve God with all that is in me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not constituting sin. I'm talking about deliverance from within. See, because I'm behind this microphone, you don't get to see that. I'm not common with you. You don't know how I use my fork. You don't know if I use a pasta spoon when I'm twirling noodles or whatever have you. You don't know if I know what a cocktail fork is, or a fish knife, or a steak knife. You understand what I'm saying? And so you don't get to see that thing. You know, it's like going to a fine dining restaurant or a shade dinner. You understand? You know, you don't know how to go through the different courses because you weren't taught that. But it's a good thing to find somebody to give you some lessons how to go out and dine, how to dress and have a gig line. You understand what I'm saying? So without that, you learn that stuff when you're at home. You don't wait to go out to the restaurant and you're supposed to be using your every meal. They got to change and give you another fork because you don't know what you're doing. You use the little cocktail fork to eat your salad, or you use the dinner fork to eat your crab cakes or your oysters. You just did everything all kind of ways. You use your teaspoon instead of the soup spoon when they gave you the soup. You understand what I'm saying? So they constantly moving things around. Instead of moving stuff from the right, moving the stuff to the right from your right, removing the stuff from the right, you pushing it to the left. You understand what I'm saying? It's just all. I've had people that I even tried to show how to set a table, and with their arrogance and stupidity, the first thing was, well, we do it this way. Well, guess what? You're wrong, and listen, there ain't no need in you trying to stay wrong. Some people you just got to leave alone because they don't want that. But what I'm talking about tonight is learning how to deal with your sin and to deal with the real you and why nobody sees you. Because one day you're going to go in front of the people. The light's going to be on you, and that's when all that stuff is exposed. When them people have pumped you up and made you to be this great wonder, that's when you're going to have all your blunders under the Osiah. Listen, let me tell you something. They never catch the pedophiles. They never catch the liars, the stealers, the manipulators, the adulterers and the fornicators, the homosexual, lesbians, and all that. They don't catch and deal with them when they're in their dark season. Nah, it's when they get up in front of them under the Osiah. It's when you break your first album that a scandal comes out. You understand what I'm saying? It's when you're in front of the whole world. You're all out there in ministry, and you got excuses why you cheated on your wife. You got excuses why you got caught at the bar under the Osiah. Do I need to go any far? I'm under the Osiah. You got excuses why you were doing drugs under the Osiah. Some of them have died in hotels and all that. You got excuses, and you want to make up excuses why you sitting up there and you watching pornography. You understand what I'm saying? Why you going to peep shows and all that stuff. Because God says, son, tell the people to deal with this stuff now. My presence is here for you to deal with that now. You can't talk about marriage counseling if you ain't lived no long marriage life. And guess what? If you make a mistake, the main thing that you need to be able to do is say you're sorry and get up. I had an individual that I had to talk to today, and I called him up, and I've known him for about 9 years or whatever, and I decided that I may work with them. You understand what I'm saying? I need a couple people to kind of do some things for me. And so they were sitting in, you could tell, after a couple conversations, you could tell that there was something wrong. Now, this person is supposed to be a Christian, but, or believer, whatever you call them. And so I had to call them and say, okay, what did I do now? Where did I mess up? Well, you said this, apostle, and this is what happened. And I said, and so for that, you bring all that heaviness on the phone? I said, I have friends, and most of my friends have been 30, 40 years. And 99.9, well, I'm just going to be blunt and say 100% of the times, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. If I don't do what I say that I'm going to do, there's a reason why there's a hold up on it. And, real people just pray, or, if there's a problem with it, we openly talk about it. But you don't hover and keep that stuff in. Like cancer, you let this stuff out. So today, and so what happens is when you let that stuff out, you get free from it. But tonight, what we're going to talk about is, guess what? We want to know what God's version of us, not what people see us, not what people make us. Listen, I'm telling you, God has created everyone under the sound of my voice to be something for the kingdom, something for his purpose. I'm wanting you to float in that, saith Jehovah, opposed to what the world made you. Some of you under the sound of my voice are bitter. Some of you under the sound of my voice are insecure. Some of you under the sound of my voice are angry. Some of you are frustrated. Some of you are confused based on what you have experienced in this life on the world, what the world and what people have told you you are, Let's go into the word of God tonight. I promise not to be before you long. I'm probably going to pray longer than I do anything tonight because I feel such a sense of urgency to pray, with everything that is going on in the land, with wars and rumors of wars, you got people that are sitting up here with all these scams. Everybody's got a vision to try to make money and this and that and all that kind of stuff. They ain't gonna be able to spend it nowhere. Listen, so right now is the time to find out what God is saying. The thing that you'll find out today, people put on them as God's chosen ones. People put on them as God's chosen ones. Holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. I'm going to read that again. In Colossians 3:12, put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. There's nothing like somebody telling you that they love you and you don't feel love. Well, when I get around you, what I feel doesn't equate to love. Or, somebody coming at you with less than love or less than what you think based on your relationship or friendship should be, or fellowship. We're living in a day where you got the internet, I think somebody said to me the other day, they was like, well, did you see the Facebook birthday wish I wished you? And I said, no. And I didn't have a problem saying no. I told him, I said, I don't read that stuff. I said, basically, I gave somebody my information and they went on there and like. Well, I couldn't do anything else. I made them respond. If they said something to me about this person, I may have put something personal or they would have typed it in for me. But I only do one thing on that social media, and that is I post a prophetic word when the Lord gives it to me, and I forward my broadcast. See, because in cyberspace, the temptation to lose yourself and become someone other than the real you is great. They get on these sites, and some of them get on the dating sites and all that, and they put pictures up that that may be 30 years old or 20 years old. They put in there, they got a bio or profile. They do all this elegant stuff with their children. They do this with themselves and this and that. And all it is, you just make yourself up. The front of it looks good. In fact, for some, it is just way too easy. You pick a handle, you find a picture, you create a bio, and if you want, you link it all to another web destination like Viola or any of them, your version of you. You slide behind the aviator and off you go. But wait, before you save those profile edits, do you know who you really are? Have you truly captured your saved, justified, sanctified identity in the allotted character count? If you need a little help remembering who you are in Yeshua, please just listen on. As Jehovah or as Jesus followers, you have more attributes than even you may realize. We're talking today about understanding God's version of you. God's version of you. Or seeing God's version of you. In 1 John 3:1, how great is the love that the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called the children of God. I know who I am. I remembered who I am. I thank God because today I remembered that, guess what? I know what you think I am based on how I may have acted or a movement and this and that. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm reminded, I remember today that I'm a child of God. I'm the I had someone tell me yesterday, and I kind of didn't want to just say it, but how can somebody tell you what you need? Why would somebody open up their mouths and tell me, oh, Apostle Zuri, you need a woman. You need to mind your business. At 53 years old, why would somebody come out of character and tell a man what he needs? Based on what? See, we can't get mixed up on what people want us to be or what the world will try to make us to be. See, because the world's got a whole lot of traps for you. You got a whole lot of accolades and a whole lot of positions people want to put you in that you don't belong in. I remember when I was a young man not long ago, I was at this particular church, and every afternoon service I would minister. And God told me I was on my way out. And I realized that I wanted to teach the person that was next to me, or what you would have called over me, a lesson. And so what I did in that particular church, although God had anointed me to preach the gospel, to lay hands on the sick, to cast out devils, but guess what else he anointed me to do? Well, I said on my departure, I'll do something that's not popular for a pastor, a preacher, a bishop, or apostle. I said, I'll give you 1 hour a week. You don't got to pay a janitor. I'll be your janitor. I'll make sure that I clean those stools properly. Oh, guess what? I'll run the vacuum up and down the aisles for you. I'll make sure I dust the chandelier. Just get me a ladder. Oh, guess what? The Lord spoke to me and told me to be one of your head ushers. What I'll do is I'll be the usher that greets the people at the door and gives them the program. I'll put my hand behind my back and walk them to the seat with a smile on my face. Oh, the Lord told me something else. I'm not a singer, can't sing, but God told me to join the choir. I know they'll talk about me not being able to hold a note, but I'll sing a joyful noise unto the Lord. I'm talking about understanding that all of us were created to be service to Jehovah. And because we're sons and daughters of God,